All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again with this video titled, The Most High Uses the Most Unlikely of People to Fulfill His Will. Okay. So, of course, the title of the video is, pretty self-explanatory. The Most High uses the most unlikely of people to fulfill his will. Okay, and we see it all throughout history, all throughout our history. Okay, and there's a reason why I actually picked this particular thumbnail for the title of this video. Okay, as you can see, this is a diamond. Okay, and this thumbnail pretty much goes into the old saying, a diamond in the rough. Okay, so we're actually going to go into that phrase because it goes right along with this particular title of this particular video. Okay, now we know a diamond is a particular type of jewel, correct? Now, when you actually go into the scriptures, okay, our people are actually referred to as jewels as well. Okay, so we're actually going to go to that particular verse and we're going to take it from there. All right. So without further ado, let's actually jump into the scriptures. All right. So opening up, this is the book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 17. And it reads, it says, and they shall be mine. Now, of course, this is talking about Israel, but it's talking about specific Israelites. When you look at the verse above it, it's talking about those who fear the Most High Yahweh. Okay, so this is actually going into the elect. Okay, but it goes on to say, and they shall be mine, saith Yahweh of hosts, and that day when I make up my jewels. Okay, so we see right there that, Israelites are referred to as the Most High's jewels. Okay, and it says, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Okay, so I went here just to prove the point that, we as Israelites, we're referred to as the Most High's jewels, okay, which goes perfectly with the particular thumbnail that I actually chose. Okay, so now what I want to do, I actually want to get the definition to the phrase diamond in the rough. Okay, so we can actually give more context to this particular video and why I titled it the way that I did. All right, so now let's actually get the definition to the phrase of diamond in the rough. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so this is actually from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Okay, and as we see here, it's the phrase diamond in the rough, right? So here's the definition, and it reads, it says noun phrase, right? So it says one having exceptional qualities or potential, but lacking refinement or polish. Now, this, to me, this describes our people, the children of Israel, to a T. Okay, let's read that definition again. It says one having exceptional qualities or potential, but lacking refinement or polish. Okay, now we already read in the book of Malachi chapter 3 and verse 17 that the Most High referred to us as his jewels, correct? Okay, so us as a people, we do have exceptional qualities. I mean, the Bible calls us the salt of the earth. Okay. And we have great potential as well. Okay. Being, God's chosen people. But here's the thing. We lack that refinement and that polish. Okay. That's why when you actually, okay, how can I put this? When you go to the book of Romans, chapter 10, it talks about how our people have a zeal. Okay, we have that zeal, but it's not according to knowledge. Okay, we have this strong zeal to want to serve the Most High to an extent. Okay, but it's not according to knowledge. It's not according to his word, according to the law, statutes, and commandments, etc. Okay, that's where that refinement has to come in. Okay, or partially. Okay, but I'm gonna show you another aspect of that refinement and that polish. Okay, because it's actually spoken about in the Bible. Okay, so let's actually build upon this particular definition and show you what I actually mean here. Okay, so going back to the scriptures, this is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, and we're going to start at verse 8. Okay, and it reads, it says, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein." Okay, so the 2 parts that's going to be cut off and die, of course, is the 2/3. Okay, and the third that's going to be left therein is talking about the 1/3 or the elect. Okay, so now let's go to the next verse. This is verse 9, and it reads, "And I will bring the third part through the fire." Now watch closely. "And will refine them as silver is refined." Let's pause real quick. Okay. Now, remember the definition to the phrase diamond in the rough. Okay. It talks about how it's one that has exceptional qualities and great potential, roughly paraphrasing. But it goes on to say, but they lack refinement and polish. Correct? But we see here that the 1/3 is going to be refined as silver is refined. Okay? That's why I said that refinement is talked about in the scriptures. That's why I said the phrase diamond in the rough is it describes our people perfectly. Okay, and that's why I say the Most High uses the most unlikely of people to fulfill his will. Okay, let's start from the top again. It says, "And I will bring the third part through the fire." Now this fire is both metaphorical and it's literal. Okay, now this fire, of course, is talking about the trials and tribulations that we go through in life. Correct? But this fire also is talking about the literal fire that's coming to this particular place, America. Okay, those missiles that's gonna pretty much destroy this place once and for all. Okay, so that fire is both metaphorical and it's also literal. Okay, and the verse goes on to say what? "And will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my God," or Yahweh is my power. Okay, so I went here to show that, the Bible clearly talks about that refinement that's coming to the 1/3 that's going to be brought through that fire. Okay, we are a perfect example of that diamond in the rough. We are, people that, that are not looked at as the Most High's people. That's why I said the Most High uses the most unlikely of people to fulfill his will. Okay? So from here, I actually want to go over a short clip, and it's a clip of Mr. Mark Cuban. I believe he's still the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. But it was a particular interview that he did, I want to say a few months ago, maybe 3 months ago, concerning the situation with Kyrie Irving. Okay. Now, he's going to say a few things that actually stuck out to me. Okay. And it actually proves the point of this video even more. Okay. So let's actually take a look at this video, and I'm going to give a bit of commentary here and there. Okay. So let's get to it.
Now, I want your thoughts as far as on the business of basketball. We look at a situation like Kyrie Irving. Mind you, basketball is a business where there's owners, bosses, employees. Then you see a situation where, what's going on with Kyrie. For those who might not understand at home and think that, things are supposed to go away. What is the business of basketball when it comes to ownership, bosses, employees, as far as rules and regulations?
It's like any other business, If somebody says something that's racist or anti some religion, you're going to have to address it.
Now, let's pause right here, because let's deal with a couple of things here. Now, what exactly did Kyrie Irving say or do that was quote unquote racist? Okay, the man quite literally just posted the link to a book from Amazon, if my memory serves me correctly. Okay. And he talked about how if anybody talks about a particular religion, okay, it has to be addressed. Well, I call BS. Okay. This is only an issue to you and, most of the elites, is because he's speaking against or is directed towards the 1948ers, the counterfeits. Okay. If Kyrie Irving said anything about quote unquote Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, you name it, nobody would have really blinked an eye. Okay. But because he spoke something that's directed towards, I guess you could say, Judaism or the so-called Jews, the 1948ers, the counterfeits, that's why it's a problem. It's not religion per se, but it's a particular people that are actually offended or, they are threatened by his actions. Okay. But anyway, let's get back to the clip.
Because he's not the only person that works there.
Right.
And you've all had to deal with it in your life. I'm Jewish. I've had to deal with anti-Semitism. People didn't know I'm Jewish and talking shit right when I'm in the room. And it's just wow. Yeah.
So this explains why you're the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Okay. And I never would have guessed that Mark Cuban was a counterfeit. Okay. Just listening to his last name, Cuban, that's not your normal, everyday, so-called, Jewish last name. Okay, but, he just confessed that he is indeed a 1948er. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to it.
Getting into fights when I was a kid, all that stuff. And, it's not acceptable. But at the same time, like I had this conversation with somebody, if there was just some dude on the street corner saying what Kyrie said or Kanye said, you just assume they're crazy and keep on walking, right?
Right.
Did you all hear what Mark Cuban just said? Okay, he said if it was just some dude on the street corner saying the same thing that Kyrie and Kanye said, you would just assume that they were crazy and just walk away, roughly paraphrasing what he said. But the point being is, he said, first of all, he said you would assume that they're crazy, but he specifically said some dude on the street corner. saying this. Let me ask y'all something, okay? Who is it that's out there on the street corners pretty much conveying the same message or a similar message that, Kyrie and Kanye is conveying? This is Israelite brothers in the camps. Okay, and again, he said you would assume that they're crazy. Okay, number one, we have to deal with the fact that you have to understand, it's very little doubt in my mind that Mark Cuban, he's come across some Israelites probably in his day. Okay, or at the very least, he knows about us. He knows who we are. Okay, and the fact that he said what he said like that was a coded message. Okay, don't think for 1 second that he didn't know what he said, or he said that by coincidence. Okay, Mark Cuban is he's very conscious of what he just said, and that's just my belief. Okay, but the point being is, he said you would look at those individuals or that particular person and just assume that they're crazy. Okay, this goes perfectly to the title of this video. The Most High uses the most unlikely of people to fulfill his will. Okay, when people look at brothers like ourselves out there on the street corner doing the work, preaching the gospel, okay, we're the most unlikely of people to do that. People just look at us as, niggas, spics, so forth and so on. Okay. Thugs, gangsters, or what have you. This is how people view us. We're the most unlikely of people to be doing the Lord's work. We're the most unlikely of people to be the Most High's chosen people. Okay, but this proves that we are that diamond in the rough. Okay, so now let's go to the scriptures to further prove that I believe Mark Cuban is very conscious of what he said. Okay, look at this. This is Isaiah chapter 30. And we're going to start at verse 20. Okay, and it reads, it says, "And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers." Okay, so we're going to see the teachers of the Most High Yahweh. Now, it says they're not going to be removed into a corner anymore. Okay, we're going to see them. Now, remember, Mr. Mark Cuban said, if it was just some dude on the street corner saying the same thing as Kyrie and Kanye, you would just cast them off as crazy, right? But he literally said somebody that's out there on the street corner, okay, where they can be seen. Okay, that's not a coincidence. Okay, but let's move forward to the next verse. Okay, so moving forward, this is verse 21, and it reads, it says, "And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left." Okay, so you're going to hear a word behind you saying, "This is the way, walk ye in it." Okay, you're going to hear this word behind you. Now, where are you going to be at when you actually hear this word? When you read this particular verse, it really sounds like it could be somebody that's outside on the street, just on their daily commute. Okay, and we see that, and in the videos of brothers in the camps out there doing the work. Okay, people, they'll hear the word, they'll walk right by the brothers. Okay, so that lets you know they're hearing this word behind them. Okay, they're walking by on their daily commute. Okay, and the brothers are telling everybody, telling their people, this is the way, walk ye in it. Okay? But again, this is going back to what Mark Cuban said about, some guy on the street corner saying the same things as Kyrie and Kanye. It's the way that particular person will be perceived. It's crazy. Okay? The most unlikely of a person to be doing the will of the Most High. Okay? That's the point. Okay? So now let's move forward to the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 20. And it reads, it says, wisdom crieth without. Watch closely. She uttereth her voice in the streets. Now, how is wisdom uttering her voice in the streets? Okay, it's through those very same men that Mark Cuban would perceive to be crazy. Yeah, them. Okay, again, the Most High chooses the most unlikely of people to fulfill his will. We are likened unto that diamond in the rough. Okay, remember in Malachi chapter 3, the Most High called us his jewels. Okay, that diamond in the rough. Okay, that's lacking that refinement, but when you come into the truth, okay, you're gonna go through things. Okay, that's actually a part of that refinement. Okay, but anyway, it just struck me as curious him actually making that statement. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to his interview. Okay, he says a few more things.
But when they're a celebrity, you can't do that because you have a platform, and so people pay attention.
Did you hear that? Okay, so he just pretty much compared this particular dude on the street corner that he would perceive as crazy. He compared him to Kyrie. And he said that Kyrie can't do the same thing that particular guy is doing. Why? Because he's a celebrity and he has a platform. Okay, he knows because he's a celebrity, he has a platform. That means he has a whole bunch of people following him. And because he's a celebrity, people are going to hang on to his every word. Okay, they're more likely to believe him and, put more weight on what he said because he's a celebrity, he has fame and fortune, etc. Okay, and it's not just that, but it's the particular message that they're sending about who the real Jews are. That's really what he's afraid of. Okay, but the point being is he's saying that Kyrie can't do that. Okay, but again, this goes into the title of the video because what Mark Cuban just said, it just solidified what the scriptures has already said in the Apocrypha. Okay, let's actually take a look at that. Let's take a look at this. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 13 and verse 23. And it reads, it says, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look, what he saith, they exalt it to the clouds. And this is what Mark Cuban is afraid of. Okay. Of course, Kyrie Irving, he is a rich man. He's also a celebrity. So as the scripture says here, it says that, because of that, people, they're going to hold their tongue, meaning they're going to actually listen to what he says, and they're going to exalt what he says to the clouds. Okay. And this is not what the elites want. They don't want that kind of message to be exalted and to get out like that. Okay, but there's an even deeper point here. This just goes to show you that the Most High is going to use the most unlikely of people to fulfill his will. Okay, notice most of the people that's actually out there doing the work and spreading the gospel, it's not people that are, celebrities. It's not people that, not saying that you don't have celebrities, in the knowledge you do, but most of the time it's not celebrities. It's not people that are, extremely wealthy or have a high place in society and things like that, because, according to societal standards, they're not allowed to give these types of messages to begin with. Okay, they'll be canceled. Okay, the Most High is going to use that person that you least expect. He always has. Okay, so we know us as a nation, we're the most unlikely people to fulfill the Most High's will, to be his people. But even within the nation of Israel, you have people that's even more unlikely, because you have Israelites that actually have they have a high position in society. Not all of us, but you have some that do. Those are the ones that are usually not used by the Most High. Okay, just something to think about. Okay, but let's continue with the verse. The verse goes on to say, "But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? If he stumble, they will help to overthrow him." So again, it's given a comparison as to when a rich man speaks and when a poor man speaks. Okay. Now, of course, in this particular context, Kyrie Irving would be likened to that rich man in this verse. Now, with that being said, who would be the poor man in this particular verse? Well, Mark Cuban already gave the comparison. Okay, he talked about that that man on the street corner that he would perceive as crazy for giving the same message as Kyrie. Okay, that man on the street corner would be the poor man in this particular context, in this verse. Okay, and that's how we are perceived. Brothers that's in the knowledge, that's doing the work. And let's be honest, okay, most of us, we're not rich men, not even close. Okay, we would be considered poor or pretty much close to it. Okay, that's what we are in this particular world, okay, in this kingdom. Okay, and because of that, because we don't have a high position in society, we don't have a lot of money, people don't hold on to our words the same way that they would a Kanye West or a Kyrie Irving, etc., etc. Okay, we would be likened unto the poor man in this particular verse. Okay, and it rings true. People look at us like we're crazy. Okay, they usually don't believe what we're saying. But if we were a celebrity with a high status in this society, people would at least listen. Okay, and they would take heed to our words a lot more than they do. Okay, if we actually had that high status. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to the interview.
I can't speak to Kanye. I don't think Kyrie is got a bad heart, right? But I think he's definitely not educated about the impact it has, and that's just part of the process. I don't think he's one of those guys that would be in Charlottesville marching, chanting "Jews will not replace us." I don't think that's him. But I think, he's got a lot to learn. As a white guy, I've said things that I probably shouldn't have said, and I learned.
Now, less than 5 minutes ago, he said he was a Jew, right? Now he's calling himself a white guy. Okay, when you look at any original ancient depiction of the Jews of antiquity, the Jews are so-called black. Okay, they're not white. They're not Caucasian. Okay. But anyway, let's get back to it.
Right? People correct me, and that's part of learning different cultures and learning to deal with different people. And, we all make mistakes and we all learn from it. And I hope Kyrie does the same thing.
All right. So that was it on the interview. But now to build off of that, okay, off of what he was saying about Kyrie, okay, let's actually go to this particular verse here. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, and we're going to start at verse 26. And it reads, it says, For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. Okay. Now, notice it didn't say that they're not called at all. That's why I said, it's not to say that the Most High cannot use these types of people, because he can. Okay, but it's not likely. He doesn't do it usually. Okay, it's not usually wise men after the flesh. Okay, people with these college degrees, their doctorates, PhDs, and all this type of stuff, these are not usually the people that the Most High calls. Okay, not many mighty. Okay, not many quote unquote mighty men in this society. Be it you have your people in the army, law enforcement, etc. Then it says not many noble. Okay, this would liken that today to maybe your people in the government, your politicians, governors, presidents, vice presidents, people like that. Those are your modern day nobles. Okay, but it's not people like this that have a high position in society or that are esteemed in society. These are not the people that the Most High usually calls. Okay, it's the people that you would consider that diamond in the rough. Okay, the people, the most unlikely of people. Okay, those brothers on the street corner that you would perceive as crazy. Those brothers that you originally you may perceive to be thugs, gangsters, drug dealers, etc. Okay, those are the people that the Most High calls. Okay, because a lot of brothers actually do come from those backgrounds, but the Most High calls them out of it to fulfill his will. Okay, so moving forward, this is verse 27, and it reads, it says, but God had chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And let me tell you something, when people look at my brothers like myself, and other brothers alike, when we're actually, teaching the word, okay, in truth and sincerity, we're viewed as foolish to the world. Okay, what we teach is foolishness to most people. Okay, but as we see here, it says that the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Okay, people that most consider to be wise. Again, people who let's take for example, so-called pastors that may have gone to seminary school and things of this nature to learn about the Bible. The Most High is not using them. The Most High is using the foolish things of the world to confound people like that have gone to seminary school and these to get these higher avenues of education. Okay, the Most High is using the foolish to confound those types of people. Okay, so the verse goes on to say what? It says, and God had chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. Okay, and if you look at, again, you know, brothers like myself and brothers alike, again, you know, we're not rich men in this society. We're not viewed as powerful men in this society. Okay, we don't, quote unquote, have clout and pull out there in the world. Okay, we're in captivity. But the Most High is using us to actually confound the things which are viewed as mighty, people that are viewed as mighty. Okay, again, this is going right into the title of this video. The Most High uses the most unlikely of people to fulfill his will. Okay, that's why I used that thumbnail of the diamond in the rough. Okay, so moving forward, this is verse 28, and it reads, it says, and base things of the world and things which are despised hath God chosen. Okay, and you can look at this, us as a people in general, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are the base things of the world. We are the people that are despised. Okay, it says hath God chosen. Okay, now it should make more sense who God's chosen people really are. Just based on those lines right there. Okay, it says he hath chosen the base things of the world, and the things which are despised have God chosen. Okay, so the verse goes on to say what? Yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are. Okay, so now let's move forward to the last verse. This is verse 29, and it reads, it says that no flesh should glory in his presence. Okay, so again, it's all about whom the Most High has chosen. Okay, this is actually similar to what you read in Romans chapter 9 concerning Jacob and Esau. Okay, it wasn't really about their works, what they did, or about their power. It was about whom the Most High chose. And of course, he chose Jacob. Okay, so likewise here, again, it's about whom the Most High chose. Okay, and again, when you read these verses that we just went over, you know, it's really showing you whom the Most High tends to choose and who he doesn't choose normally. Okay, it's not normally the people whom you would think he would choose. Okay, your people that have high positions in society, who may be celebrities and things of this nature. Okay, these are usually not the people that the Most High chooses or uses to fulfill his will. It's usually the most unlikely of people. Okay, the base things of the world. Okay, the foolish people who would be considered the foolish. Okay, or the weak of this society. Okay, these are the people that the Most High uses. Okay, that particular diamond in the rough, if you will. Okay, so nobody can really glory, or nobody can glory in his presence, because it's all about his choice, who he elected. Okay, that's what this is going into. Okay, but anyway, I believe this is actually a good place to end the video. And again, the title of the video is The Most High Uses the Most Unlikely of People to Fulfill His Will. And of course, I used the thumbnail of the diamond and the rough. Okay. We as Israelites, we refer to as the Most High's jewels. Okay. So, I just felt like that this particular thumbnail would, be appropriate for this particular video. Okay. And we went through the precepts, proving, how that particular phrase, it really applies to us. Okay. Really to a T, that diamond and the rough. Okay. We are the most unlikely of people to fulfill the Most High's will. Okay. We're the most unlikely of people to be his chosen people. Like I said earlier. Okay. We are the base people of this world, the most despised of this world. Okay, and of course that's for a reason. We are the children of Israel. Okay, and of course the elites of the other nations, they know who we are. Okay, that's why, I'm glad I found that clip of Mr. Mark Cuban, saying what he said, concerning Kyrie Irving. Okay, these elites, they know who we are. Okay, but I just put that video in there to give my video a little more context. Okay, so with that, and as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father, and I do so by Hashem, which means in the name of Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, whom the world knows as Jesus Christ. And I want to thank all you brothers and sisters for tuning in. I hope this video was informative and edifying. And until next time, Shalom, family.